there is just as large of an adult audience as there is a kids audience with My Little Pony. We don't like to call My Little Pony a kids comic. We like to call it an all ages comic.
That's awesome.
Look who we're hanging with.
That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Jason David Frank.
Boom shakalaka.
Please do not change channel.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on, tuning in. Take a second, go down, hit subscribe. Just hit it. That guy right there, man, he never listens. No matter how many times he watches the show, he doesn't listen. Hit subscribe already, all right? We're here. We're at Central Florida Comic Con in Lakeland, Florida. And right now we are hanging out with artist, pencil, ink artist, Andy Price from My Little Pony. Friendship is magic.
Yes.
That was just a statement. Friendship is magic. We're making friends. Andy, how are you,
It's a trademark statement.
There you go. That is awesome. I have to pay $1,000 now just for saying it on the air. Damn it, man.
Somebody somewhere just made a nickel.
Somebody somewhere made a nickel on that deal. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Not too bad. Great little show.
Yes.
This is a nice way to start 2019.
It is. It is a very nice way to get kind of a relaxing show in a beautiful, beautiful, warm environment.
Yes, in so many ways right now.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the country is like, they're like under snow and freezing.
Right.
And
we've had rain steady for weeks, and it's like living in a muggy. How you can have muggy and cold at the same time? Muggy, cold swamp.
Muggy, cold swamp.
Yeah.
This does not sound like the ideal vacation spot.
Right.
That's why Central Florida is where you should be.
Yes.
Which is why Andy's here. We promised him sunshine. It's still a little cold, but you know, we'll deal. I like to go out like right around now.
Right.
I usually have to pick a leaf from one of my flowers on my thing. I throw it on the front yard, take a picture, and send it to all my family in New York. Just so they know the struggle's real here too.
Yes.
All right, so how did you start with My Little Pony? Let's start with My Little Pony. How did you start with My Little Pony?
It is not the way people typically end up with a comic job.
Okay.
I had just started watching the show. A friend of mine had suggested watching the show. I was like, I'm not going to watch that. That's for girls.
Little girls at that.
And that was how I remembered it. Back in the early 80s when the show started, it was aimed for like 6-year-old girls. And so my
Great way to sell toys.
Right.
Yes.
Like my niece watched it, but I didn't pay attention to it. So when it came back, I was like, that's not my demographic.
Yeah.
And then I started watching it. I was like, this show is incredibly smart.
Yeah.
It does not talk down to kids. It has an incredible amount of humor.
The best children's properties treat children like people.
Right.
Small people.
Right.
You know.
And I had just started watching it. And I was at a convention in Chicago, and somebody actually requested a pony drawing. Okay, I've just started watching. And a friend of mine that I've been working with for a number of years came by the table when I was doing this and went, "You drawing My Little Pony?" I was like, "Yeah." "Would you like to work on the comic book?" I was like, "What?"
What? Yeah.
And she had just started watching the show. My friend Katie Cook, and she got on Twitter and said, "This is a great little show. I think there should be a comic book of it." And IDW Publishing answered her and said, "We agree. How'd you like to write it?"
Wow.
And she was like, "Okay." So when she came up to me and said, "How'd you like to draw it?" Okay. So that's not normally how you start off with a comic book, but we just kind of happened to fall in the right place at the right time.
That is awesome.
And I sent stuff into the editor, and he was like, "This looks great." And Hasbro was like, "We like, the approach that you're taking." And almost 7 years later.
The rest is history, right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You know what? That is That's a great story, especially for a lot of the creative artists that are out there that are looking to get started. They're like, I don't know where to start. I don't know, hone your craft, learn your craft.
Right.
Get out there where the other creative artists are. And
that's the big part of it,
I mean?
is get out into the creative communities, because a lot of this industry is talking to people in the industry and getting your face known. It's
get your work out there, show what you can do, right?
Right.
And it's a really thing. So how long have you been an artist?
What time is it?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
30 minutes. He started this morning. He's good.
All my life. Really, professionally since 1990. I did go to school for it. I've drawn all my life, but I did go to school for it to kind of hone it. I went to the Joe Kubert School in Dover, New Jersey.
Dover, New Jersey.
Dover, New Jersey. Tiny little town, but a great school.
Okay.
It is geared specifically towards getting people into the illustration and art and comic communities.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I've drawn professionally since 1990, doing whatever I can get a hold of. Advertising work, comic work, toy design.
Artists have to do art. It's what they have to do. If you're lucky, you can find somebody to pay you to do it, because you're going to do it anyway.
Right.
You're either sitting at home or somebody's paying you to do it.
Right.
So find somebody to pay you.
If you're lucky, you will get. I want to do comics. If you're lucky, you will get comics, but that's not all you have to be able to do.
Yeah.
Because you got to pay the bills.
What's the biggest challenge when you come out of school? You jump out there. What is the biggest challenge? What was the biggest challenge for you?
Finding the work.
Finding the work.
Because you have to find it. It's rare when people come to you.
Yeah, this is the one place where you don't see a whole lot of help wanted, artists needed.
Right.
Yeah.
And nowadays a lot of
I check every window to see if anybody's looking for a talk show host. They're not.
Right. You're not.
I tried Walmart 3 times. They're like, we don't do that.
You're not going to look in the want ads and see, comic inker needed, so you have to dig
here.
for it.
You got to come to these shows. You got to be out here and doing what you do.
Yeah.
Because they don't just want to see you; they want to see what you do, what you
exactly.
can do. All right, so let's talk about toy design.
Okay. Well,
a little bit of art in there.
Well, yeah.
But
again, with something like that, it's like I did some designs for. God, I can't even remember the name of the companies. I did do some work for Lego.
Okay.
It started off as they wanted some T-shirt art, and I did that, and they were like, "We like what you've done with this. What can you show us in the way of doing designs?" And I was not doing like the engineering of a toy. Yeah. That is a different thing. I was just doing like concept art.
Okay.
Of, hey, what if you did this?
All right, so here is what I think it should look like. Now go have somebody else determine the millimeters.
Right. Like, here's the idea. Somebody else who actually knows what they're doing.
Yeah. There's a guy with a slide rule in there somewhere.
Right.
And
but I did. This was years ago when Lego first started doing Batman stuff. Now Batman Lego is a very big deal with their Batman Lego movie. Yeah. But this is not the first time they've had it.
Okay, yeah.
This was years ago, and I did a lot of toy design, T-shirt designs that ended up in like Spencer's Gifts and Walmart, which is really weird to go into a store.
And see your stuff.
I got to run in and get some underwear and chapstick. Hey, look at that. That's my artwork on a shirt.
First time I walked through a bookstore and saw my book on the shelf, I have like 1,000 pictures of that moment because I just kind of walked around taking pictures. I was like, look, that's my.
And that never goes away.
That's awesome.
like 30 years later, if you're still doing this, you go in. I did that. I did that.
Yeah, you're like telling people to walk by. Look,
buddy,
look at my
t-shirt.
Oh my Lord. Okay, look at that. We get excited. We get talking.
I did it too.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, can you still hear us? If you can, then we're feeling like we did all right. Okay, so you've been doing a lot of convention work. Traveling around?
I have been doing convention work. This hurts to say. This will be 37 years.
37 years.
Yes. On one side of the table or the other.
All right. How many conventions even is that?
All of them.
All of the conventions.
Too many.
All of the
Too
time.
many.
Wow.
Dragon Con, San Diego, New York Comic Con, Atlanta Fantasy Fair, which isn't even around anymore.
He's been to conventions.
all
You
of them,
can't.
all
Not
of
only have you never heard of it, but you can't even look it up.
No, you know. I do so many, and they all begin to blur
You know
together.
what's great
I can't
is
tell
you were
one
doing
from another.
conventions when we were subculture, and you
Yes.
got to watch us become
Yes.
popular culture.
That's
awesome.
That's the thing is for a lot of these children around here don't know.
we gonna learn you some things.
When Trekkie was a dirty word, when you didn't say, "I'm a Trekkie."
yeah,
Now it's almost expected that you know something about Star Trek or Star Wars or whatever. It's just in our mainstream.
There was Cosplay Michael's out front here. He was taking pictures as Captain Mal from Firefly.
Right.
There was a young man, a teenage boy, and his father were walking by. And the teenage boy looked at him and said, "Hey, how you doing?" And Michael went, "Hey, how you doing?" And the dad looked over and went, "Who's that?" And the kid looked at him and went, "Oh my God, Dad, it's Firefly." It was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing in this room with me? Don't talk anymore."
And think about this, like how old was that kid?
That kid was 15, 16 years old, and that show's been off for 13 years.
That show has been off for as long as he has been alive.
That's it.
And it only ran for a season.
One season.
Yeah.
But in this room, it's,
Right. We know that it is part of our culture now.
Yeah.
I mean, we carry around phones every day that were born from Star Trek.
yes.
You know, it
You
is.
and I both had, remember we had the phone that actually flipped out like a Star Trek phone. Remember that? Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when this was, you had to dig around to find a convention. Now there are multiple shows every weekend
We used
across
to
the
fit
country.
into a ballroom.
Yes,
Remember?
a hotel ballroom.
That was it. You were
Yeah.
done. And
You had
it
your
was-
used book dealer, you had your bumper sticker dealer, maybe somebody had swords, and there were like old toys like a flea market.
That's right.
And you had the masquerade. You didn't have
Best con
people
moment.
walking around in
Best
cosplay.
con moment. Stands out in your mind.
My best con moment, we would be here for a while if I was to tell you the best one. But at every show it is getting to meet fans overall,
Yeah.
especially getting to talk to kids because, like the song said, the children are our future. And they're gonna take this forward.
They are. They're going to take it. We took it from subculture to popular culture.
Right.
When you look at all these artists and all these young artists, and they are taking it from just pop culture to mainstream culture.
Yeah.
They're affecting the world around them.
Yeah.
With the art and with the new stuff that's coming up, it's amazing to see. It
Right.
really is. You know what? It's cool. Like you said, when you first got into My Little Pony, it seemed like that was like for 7-year-old girls. The more you learn about it, the more you do it.
Right.
The more you realize there's an adult audience here.
It is.
And they love My Little Pony.
There is just as large of an adult audience as there is a kids audience with My Little Pony. We don't like to call My Little Pony a kids comic. We like to call it an all ages comic.
That's awesome.
Because there is humor in there that might fly over Junior's head, but Dad reading it to him was like, oh, I see what they did there.
See, yeah.
And
but it's still entertaining for the kid at the same time.
Right.
So Dad gets that joke.
right.
Junior gets the next joke.
I like to compare it to the 1966 Batman.
Oh, okay.
Because, and you might think that's an odd comparison, but the 66 Batman was adult humor.
There's a lot of double entendre. There was
a lot of double
tongue-in-cheek,
entendre, and there was a lot
yeah.
of, the whole thing was we're going to take this ridiculously outlandish situation, present it to you seriously, so serious that you can't help but laugh. But a kid is looking at it and they're like, look at the colors, look at the action, look at the gadgets. And with My Little Pony, a little kid, especially a very young kid, is attracted by the colors and the animation and the silliness. And an adult is watching it and is like, they just made a David Bowie joke.
There's a satire
They just made
there.
a train spotting joke.
There's a satire there.
Yeah.
And the 60s Batman is very good at. They were very good at that. There were a lot of, especially time relevant.
Yes.
Satire in there, whether it was the dancing, whether it was the language, whether it was the individual
Right.
gags.
Right.
Nothing there to keep me busy at 7, but also enough in there to keep my dad going, hey, that was really funny.
Right. You know. So.
All right, she's going to wave that card on us until we actually say goodbye to some people.
Okay.
So we're going to thank our partners and our friends at Something Unique Magazine, Famous Faces and Funny, Space Coast Comics, J. Bauer Art, Celestial Healing, Scripton Radio, Radio.com, and Pound the Grape over in Melbourne, Florida. Thank you guys so much. Those are the people that share these videos all over the World Wide Web. We hope you will too. We're going to put links down below so you can find Andy, My Little Pony, all kinds of art from Andy. So look at those links, click on over and say hello, but first subscribe. Remember, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next. Andy, thank you so much.
You are
man.
very welcome.
Awesome.